kids, it's time for Democrat Corner.
They put the pain in 2028 campaign. At the Munich Security Conference, prominent Dems used the spotlight to position themselves as potential presidential nominees, but it didn't go so well. Here's AOC attempting to answer a simple question about America defending Taiwan.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Man, even Kamala Harris was like, what the hell is she talking about? Meanwhile, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer struggled when asked about resolving the war in Ukraine.
On Ukraine, what does victory look like?
Ambassador. No, please, I'd love to hear your answer.
It is. The two that I am on the panel with are much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. But I do think that Ukraine's independence, keeping their land mass, and having the support of all the allies, I think is the goal from my vantage point.
Man, I haven't heard that much hemming and hawing since I asked Greg if I could borrow $5. So, Tyrus, I mean, I was watching that. I mean, you couldn't
It's
deal.
brutal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a little emotional right now because my favorite series was phenomenal last night. The night of the Seventh Realm, I was screaming at the TV, get up, get up. And when they were doing it, I was like, shut up, shut up, stop talking. It's not a word. It was fishing. It was like she started 6 sentences at the same time and didn't finish any of them.
Yeah.
It was but this is the difference between the parties. Okay? We saw 2 representatives from each side that potentially could be presidential candidates. We had J.D. Vance and we had Rubio, right? Both of them have a history with President Trump that's not great. They both said bad things. He said bad things to them. But when it came time to do the work, he picked them because they were the best prepared professional people to do the job. And they showed up, and what did they do? They showed up, and they did their damn job. Rubio is starting to look presidential. Vance looks presidential. So the Republican Party is setting themselves up where they'll have 3, DeSantis, you have 3 guys that can carry the mantle, understand the plan, and can communicate to the American people. Then there's the other side, where somewhere Sarah Palin is going, I'm off the hook, right?
Yeah.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. Sarah was only off by 56 miles. AOC was off half a continent, south of the equator. And listen, you didn't know where Venezuela was at, but you were the first person, if someone doesn't say Ocasio with the right nomenclature, you're a racist. You're a Latino who doesn't know where Latino countries are.
Yeah.
Or where horses come from.
Or anything. And the other one, Whitmer, was basically like, from my vantage point, are we bird watching? This is the DEI administration versus the take care of business administration. AOC's career is over. No, as far as running, there is no way anyone would ever take her serious. Kamala looked the smarter of the 3. And no one is going to vote. We saw that. But they embarrassed themselves, they embarrassed the country, and they made us look weaker. I'm more fearful of, after seeing that foreign countries that were pushing against us were like, hey, we can just wait this out because if that's in, we're back in business.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but Jamie, if AOC were to run, she'd have the media there to protect her. They wouldn't put her in situations like that.
That's
Just
right.
Let her do social media.
Absolutely. AOC, or as I like to call her, MC Stammer. Whenever she starts to talk, I'm like, stop, stammer time. Yeah, this was, I expected her to go like, that's all, folks, at the end of it. It was, she said, more than a pornographic movie I saw last night. It was, and then I had no idea, Gretch, I had no idea that you could pass on a question. She basically passed.
Yeah.
She goes, pass. I don't think you can do that in the public, right? Are you allowed to do that?
It's not, it's frowned upon.
Yeah. I am jealous, though. I'm a little jealous as a comedian. I am a little bit jealous of AOC because every time she talks, everybody laughs.
Yeah, no,
Everybody
it's
laughs.
true. It's true. Charlie, they were at a security conference. When you go to a security conference, aren't you supposed to be kind of pre-think of those questions?
Yeah, you might have like a question prepared for maybe one about our biggest geopolitical adversary on the planet. I don't know. You might have thought about that one. But it goes to the heart of what, I mean, these people are fundamentally unserious, and they have fundamentally unserious, they don't even pretend to have actual solutions to things. The idea that you're going to defund the police because you don't like the police, you're going to have open borders, you're going to apologize. We didn't play all the other clips, which I think are actually even worse than that one, where she's over there apologizing for America's role in the world. And it's like, well, then why do you want to be president of the United States? You want to just be president of the United States to undo the United States and make us less of a power in the world? What was so beautiful about Marco Rubio is he was not afraid. He was not apologizing for anything. He was saying, no, we actually believe in these things. It was an embrace of nationalism. And, the Democrats want to go in the exact opposite direction.
It's so true. Brianna, did you notice Matt Whitaker was the guy who asked the question of Gretchen Whitmer, a frequent guest on the Gutfeld show. This show continues to rule world politics. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure tonight we're going to have big, massive stories about Hillary Clinton being a witch. I think
we might.
I worked 6 months putting
he
that
worked hard
together.
for this. I do think that we're talking about AOC and Whitmer, and we're like astonished. And the thing is, it's like, go back to the Biden years. People that stupid were running our foreign policy under Biden. The Israel-Palestine conflict, Russia invading Ukraine, a Chinese spy balloon could just fly over the United States, and we were like, it looks kind of cool, right? Whatever. So it's like those very people are actually running the country actively within Democratic circles. So even if it's not AOC or Whitmer, you're going to get someone that dumb anyway under a Democrat.
Boom.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.